Chairman and ranking members, and all members of the committee. I am accompanied this morning by my younger and only sister, who has been a bedrock of my support, Tere. And also with me, I am deeply honored to have Felix Rodriguez, who is an icon in the Cuban-American community, not only because of his role in capturing Che Guevara, but also because of his steadfast support for democracy throughout the continent. So I'm very pleased to have them both with me. I also feel honored and grateful for the trust and confidence President Biden and Secretary Blinken placed in me by nominating me to serve as United States Ambassador to the Republic of Panama. It is an honor to appear before you for the second time after having served as Ambassador to El Salvador and Acting Assistant Secretary of State for the Western Hemisphere. I look forward to discussing my view of the bilateral relationship and how I will make it even more productive and dynamic if confirmed as Ambassador. The United States and Panama have a long history of partnership and collaboration to advance mutual goals. We remain Panama's largest trade partner and its #1 source of foreign direct investment. Panama's location and role in global trade due to the Panama Canal makes its success important to both U.S. prosperity and national security. Traffic to or from the United States represents nearly 70% of all canal transits. Panama's strategic location along major land and sea transit routes makes it critical in the interdiction of illicit drugs destined for the United States and a vital partner in addressing irregular migration. As a carbon-negative country, Panama has the potential to serve as an environmental model not only for the region, but also for the world. While Panama and the United States have ample historical, cultural, and economic ties, challenges exist in the bilateral relationship. Each year, thousands of migrants take a perilous journey through the Darien Gap, many passing through Panama on their way to the United States. We must find more ways to work together to manage migration, provide protection, and give potential irregular migrants incentives to remain in their home countries. We must also continue to promote democratic governance and rule of law. Corruption, a serious challenge in Panama, has a corrosive effect on many layers of the state. We must not allow it to progress further. The government efforts to enforce recent anti-money laundering reforms and to correct efficiencies acquired for Panama's removal from the Financial Action Task Force's gray list will determine Panama's financial stability and attractiveness to investors. Panama also suffers from organized criminal activity, which threatens to undermine democratic institutions and economic prosperity. If confirmed, I will use my position as ambassador to strengthen our relationship with Panama and build the security and prosperity of the entire region. This includes our engagement with Panamanian government ministries, civil society, and the private sector to showcase our strong partnership and hedge against problematic PRC influence and activities. We need a stable, strong, and secure Panama, and Panama needs the United States as a friend, ally, and partner. Effective implementation of U.S. foreign policy in Panama requires a cohesive, diligent, and effective whole of U.S. government team, and we have an extraordinary interagency embassy team in Panama. The mission's efforts center on the strategic work of ensuring the United States remains a valued partner, collaboratively managing migration through the Darien, and the battle against corruption, which threatens the foundations of institutional democracy. Just as I did in El Salvador as U.S. ambassador there, I want to empower and listen to the embassy team to make the bilateral relationship stronger, more effective, and more dynamic. If confirmed, I will prioritize strengthening diversity and inclusion. I commit to ensuring our workplace remains a safe, fair, and just space for all. The challenges we face now more than ever call for strong, smart, and vibrant diplomacy. Panama can and should serve as a key player in confronting Central America's challenges. We will strengthen bilateral ties by reaching out to the complete spectrum of Panamanian society, not just to government leaders and the country's elite, but to community leaders, minority and women's groups, youth, and all facets of civil society. We're going to do this with Panama hand in hand so that together we can move forward stronger. If confirmed, I will lead our embassy team in Panama City with pride and dedication and look forward to keeping you appraised of our progress. I will prioritize protecting U.S. citizens in Panama while championing the interests of the United States in cooperation with our Panamanian friends. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you. Assessment of this Alliance for Development in Democracy. The foreign ministers of the three nations, Panama, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, met recently with Senators Risch, Menendez, Rubio, and me to talk about what they're trying to do, to kind of have a little bit more mass together than they might individually, to stand strong for democracy in a region where there is backsliding in democracy, assess the opportunities of the alliance and how the U.S. could work together with the alliance to amplify their effect.
Senator, I'm so glad you brought that up because as Senator Menendez alluded in his comments, there is a troika of Nicaragua and Cuba and Venezuela, but this is the good news. The troika of Costa Rica, Panama, and Dominican Republic, who have joined forces to address the issue of not only of democracy, but strengthening institutions and improving trade relations. And it's a step in the right direction. It's very exciting and a great opportunity for the United States to work with them. And it also provides them a platform to talk to us at another level.
Thank you.
Sir Aponte, I'd like to turn with you to talk about some concerns I have, again, regarding China and their activity regarding the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is arguably one of the most important geostrategic locations for the United States. It annually registers nearly 14,000 transits. That's a value equal to 6% of all global trade. The United States remains the top user of the canal. In 2019, 66% of the cargo traffic transiting the canal either began or ended its journey at a U.S. port. Despite the importance of the Panama Canal to the United States national security and our economic security, the trends that I see in Panama are deeply concerning. In 2016, then President Carlos Varela severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan to recognize China. Mm-hmm. Since then, Chinese companies have been heavily involved in infrastructure-related contracts both in and around the canal. They're involved in Panama's logistics, their electricity, construction sectors, all part of China's One Belt, One Road initiative. In 2020, the U.S. Southern Command expressed concern that China's investment in numerous deepwater ports and infrastructure on both sides of the Panama Canal could enable the Chinese military to threaten sea lanes vital to global commerce and to the movement of U.S. forces. So, Ambassador Aponte, if you're confirmed to this new position, what's your assessment of the increasing Chinese involvement in the Panama Canal region?
Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought up the issue of the Chinese influence around the canal. Since President Cortizo came to power in 2019, we have seen the cancellation and the withdrawal of some projects around the canal for the right reasons, meaning because there was non-compliance of the contracts. There's a port on the Atlantic side where the contract is in the process of being withdrawn. We assume that it will eventually come back on the market, and then it will be open for all other corporations to bid on it. But that's just one of them. There's also on natural gas, there was a withdrawal of a contract to the Shanghai Electric Power, and it went to the AES. So we have seen some progress, and what is really exciting to see is that it's being done because there's non-compliance. If you don't comply with the terms of the contract, you're out.
Well, this is not surprising, and I'm sorry to cut you short, but it's not surprising. It's actually very typical of the way the CCP behaves in this sort of environment, particularly these Belt and Road projects. They're predatory, they're aggressive, and they're detrimental to our national security. So I would encourage you, if you're confirmed, to develop a plan, a specific plan of how you will work with the government, the Panama Canal, to help offset and move our interests forward and help educate them on the challenges. I've seen this happen in other countries. I worked very closely in my previous position to deal with China's predatory behavior in the Subic Bay, for example, in the Philippines when I was serving in that region. We need to be alert at every level, and I encourage you to undertake this with utmost haste.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
For a second round of questions, Senator.
Salvador, when you were our ambassador previously, I'm sure you'll do so again in Panama, different country, different set of issues. But the Panamanians have joined the Costa Ricans and the Dominican Republic to launch an alliance for development in democracy, something that we applaud and embrace. These kind of regional activities are rare and, in my view, worthy of U.S. attention and support. What steps will you take to strengthen the U.S. partnership with the Alliance for Democracy and Development in order to catalyze economic development and encourage alternatives to Chinese investments? Senator Hagerty was correctly pointing out the challenge that we have with China in the hemisphere and the region.
Thank you very much for bringing the Alliance for the Development of Democracy, Senator. It is an exciting development, and I think it affords us the opportunity to work together, especially in bringing projects to the three countries that are big infrastructure projects that can be done in partnership with other countries. I think that we need to urge other countries to also be supportive along with us in investing and in calling for investment in the three countries. In the end, what I think we are seeking is the stability of not only Panama, but of the members of the alliance. And the one place, one solid place where we can demonstrate our support is precisely in those kinds of infrastructure, big infrastructure development projects.
Thank you. They also have migration questions. I'll submit something for the record in that. Mr. Chairman, thank you. You know my passion for the Western Hemisphere